I hope everybody has had a wonderful weekend and week. I'm really excited to see what people have been doing. Everything that has been turned in is graded now, and I did leave some comments on things. Please, as you do stuff, be mindful of a couple things. One is, I should back up a little bit. Midterm grades are due Wednesday night. And so I'm doing this a little bit early as a heads up. You guys can, watch it at your regular time or whatever. But I really hope that everybody can get whatever they need to turned in by Wednesday night to help with the grade. A couple things you'll notice that as I'm grading, if something hasn't been turned in, I put in a 0. What that means is it hasn't been turned in. It does not mean that you're never going to get a chance to work on it. If you see a 0 or fewer points than you want, make sure that you go back and either submit the assignment or submit it in the right file format. Sometimes format is used that my computer can't recognize, and I put a little note in there. Or if it's fewer points that you want or expected, read the note that I've made. Sometimes there's been things like where people will submit an assignment and what was submitted is actually an earlier draft and it's not finished. Or they'll submit it and forget to put in something like an explanatory paragraph that we talked about, giving a little bit of context for whatever it is, or any of a number of things. And if you did not get perfect points, I always write a note so you know what you need to do. It's not a big deal. Please go ahead and resubmit so you can get all the points you're working on. A couple of things to touch on really quick, and some of the easiest ways to improve the grade is make sure that things are turned in, like I said. Double check and make sure that you've gotten points for watching all the videos. And if you have watched the videos and forgotten to turn in the little blurb that says, these are the 5 things I learned, go ahead and do that. That's an easy way to boost up your score a bit. And again, if you did not get the points that you want, go through and double check and make sure and read what the comments that I've made, and you can resubmit. Again, if something is late, don't worry about it. Turn it in as soon as you can. It's a lot better to try and turn stuff in than to just decide not to even bother, because you will always get more points when you turn something in, even if it's late. That is so much better than a 0. All right, that being said, this week, I know that people are getting excited about the break, a little bit of a change of routine. What I wanted to do today is just talk about the projects. I've got 14 projects turned in so far, and they are all really, really good. I wanted to comment on a few of them. I'll just go through one at a time and look at them. If you have ideas and you're still working on, you still don't know exactly what you want to do, please work on that as soon as you can, and contact me, and I will help you come up with ideas. I'm really sorry about this. I thought I had put these on last week, project 2 and 3. So I put those on this morning. So project 2, I have a due date for Sunday, and project 3 is the following Sunday. And in those cases, that is my fault. Turn those in as soon as you can, regardless of the due date. Just turn it in as soon as you can. The ones that I get before tomorrow night, when midterm grades are due, the points will be added to the midterm grade, but I will not take points away if they aren't turned in, because that was my screw up. The projects that I've seen that people have been turning in have been really well done. The annotated bibliography, several people chose that route. That's really great. Somebody took a trip to Museum of Art in Salt Lake and videoed that. That one is an exceptional trip, everything like that. The only thing that didn't make it through was the paragraph describing what the project was and how it related to the class. That needs to be there. That's some of the things, one of the things that we're talking about, and I'm sure it was just something that happened with the submission thing. So I made a note on that. And if again, on these projects and stuff, if I make little notes like that, please make sure that you read them and resubmit with the additions that I talk about. For example, some of the weekly reflections I have had in a few classes that I teach, I've had people that will write half the number of words that they need. And so they get several points, but they don't get all the points that they should be getting. And all that usually takes is just to rewrite and add another couple sentences, probably personal observation, personal reflection on what it is you're talking about, and then resubmitting. And sometimes if there are photos that are needed or reacted to or talked about in the reflection, those need to be in the body of the reflection. Or if so I noticed on one of the projects or some of the project submissions for some of the classes I teach, people will reference photos in there and don't include them. I think one of the projects for this class, person did painting that was in a specific style, talked about it. The report that talked about the painting made it in the submission, but the image itself did not. And just as soon as that image comes through, then they'll get the remaining points. In those cases, when you do have to resubmit or you have to submit like a missing file, Canvas is set up so that whatever resubmission you do, it erases the previous submission. So if you are, for example, submitting a like three photos of a painting that you did plus a report, and only one thing made it through, what you've got to do is put all those things together and resubmit them all at the same time. Otherwise, whatever missing element you submit rewrites and erases the previous stuff, which can be really frustrating. If you are doing like a 5-page report and then 2 photographs and you forgot the second photograph in your original submission, when you go back and just plug in the second photograph, you think you're good, Canvas reads that as a total resubmission and erases everything else. So be mindful of that. If there, and again, it's not a big deal from my end. It can be a little bit frustrating for you, but I will not take off points for you doing that. What that, we'll just communicate back and forth until you submit all the materials. So I want to make sure you get all the credit you have coming to you. Now, last week I did this at a different time at 8 o'clock, and I rescheduled the meetings for that. Nobody was showing up for the 6 o'clock one, and I thought that might be easier. When you watch this today, please think about what time would be best to do this. And if it needs to be a different day of the week, then that's fine. This seemed to be the day that most people could do it. I would like to have as many people as possible on this call live. Now and there's a couple reasons for that. One is I have found that historically, when people, you can get an A regardless, because this is an online class and it's you have to watch the videos, and you get attendance by talking about either the video or the live Teams meeting. But what I have found is that although people can get an A without attending live, almost everybody that consistently attends the live Teams meetings gets A's. So almost all the time. I can't think of a single exception to that rule. And another reason why it's important is that a while back we were talking about Islam, and I mentioned a couple things about how Islam changed the environment, and several people evidently were listening to the video while they were doing something else, because what they said they learned was completely the opposite of what I had said. Specifically, when Islam had come in to the Mecca area, women were incredibly poorly treated by the pagans that were there, by the pagan belief system, and Islam completely transformed how women were treated, so they became treated with a lot more respect and dignity. And somehow, at least 4 of the people who watched the video understood that to be the exact opposite, that Islam denigrated women, and that's not the case. In the media, the negative things that you're seeing in the media, portrayals of religions around the world, it's usually that faith that has been translated through regional misunderstanding. And so when we see women being treated poorly and being subjugated, and the news reports say that they are Muslim, yes, they are, but the subjugation comes because of the regional perspective and misunderstanding of the religion. Just as I mentioned a while ago, and thankfully everybody picked up on this, I mentioned a while ago that when people start being violent to each other in the name of religion, they have actually lost the entire rationale behind the religion in the first place. When people are nasty to each other and bully each other and claim it's because of religion, I've studied religions around the world long enough that I know that that kind of negativity is almost universally shows that people have stopped following the religion, as opposed to it actually is justified by the doctrines. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. But I would really appreciate your input. Let me know when is the best time for you. I think the best day is probably going to be Tuesday, and hopefully that will work for everybody at some point during the day. Evenings are the most open for me. Another option is doing it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I don't want to do that, because if we need to go a little bit longer than an hour, I wouldn't be able to because of scheduling. But if we need to do this on Mondays, for example, if Monday afternoon is going to be better for people, let me know and I will make the changes that we need to, because I really would appreciate having at least 2 people on these live calls so we can clear up misconceptions like what I was just talking about. What I'm hoping to do today is, I'm recording this so you guys can watch it whenever. What I'm hoping to do today is I want to visit and share with you projects that people have done. And I want to talk about just the variety of things that people have done and show what are good projects. And to be completely honest, everything that has been turned in so far, they've all been good projects. If you didn't get all perfect points, the reason is because an element is missing. It's not because it's a bad project. Because the projects you guys have been doing have been great. They've been excellent. So I am going to, okay. I'm sighing because I'm trying to navigate my computer, and I don't always hit the right buttons. Okay. So I'm going to share with you a project and tell you why I like it and the best parts of it, and then I'm going to go to the next one. Now this project was a discovery project. She labeled it very clearly. It's a discovery project. That's great. You need 2 discovery projects and 2 research projects, and then the remaining projects you do can be whichever you want. So I should have said you need at least 2 discovery projects and at least 2 research projects. Okay, so this, Sarah wanted to visit the Bloomington Petroglyph Park, and she reflects about how we talked about gender in prehistoric art, and this is something that is nearby that she wanted to visit, and so that's why that was the rationale for doing this project, and I think that's great. So they drove to Bloomington Petroglyph Park, and she includes some photos of the drive, and then she starts showing photos of the petroglyphs, and then and here's another photo of petroglyphs and stuff, and then the rest of it is she has written an essay just about her experience, and the history of it, and then how it relates to the class. And I thought this was excellent. She included a really nicely done works cited page. Right here is something that I want everybody to see really good. She wrote accessed, and that this phrase, accessed on, or the access phrase, is something that we should be putting at the end of every internet access citation. So like there should be one right here and right here as well. That's something that I did not talk about or cover. But Sarah, I'm really glad that you did this on yours, because it reminds me, everybody, we need to put this on there. And the reason is that the internet does change. Things, addresses are changed so that we can no longer access different material. And when you put the accessed on date, we can use, there's the Wayback Machine and there's also archive.org. If you can't find it because the link is no longer functioning, you can use one of those two tools to find the original link. And that's really good if we want to go back and see like Petroglyph Park essay published by St. George City. So that is excellent. And this one is by Alexandra. And I really like this one because this is an essay and a drawing. So she did this drawing, but it's not just a sketch, and she's just not just talking about, I did this drawing, here it is. What is really interesting is that she studied Taoism specifically from the perspective of art and women in how women are viewed in Taoism. And then she talks about her observations in this, just for one page, and the rest of the time of her project, she spent designing and crafting her sketch. And it is a very Taoist looking genre type scene. It fits very well. And then at the end, she has her citations. So this is an excellent example of another discovery project. So, and in this first paragraph, she talks about how it's related to the class, which I really appreciate. And then this one, this is a little bit different project. The first discovery project was going to Bloomington Petroglyph Park. The second one was a sketch that was done in a Taoist style, learning about Taoist religion and doing a sketch in Taoist style. Now this one is an example of an annotated bibliography. Where the first paragraph, Sierra talks about how this ties in with the class and how it's related. And then going through, notice that each of these, there are two paragraphs after the citation, and in that, each of these annotations, Sierra talks about what was in the material that she interacted with for that particular citation, and her perspective on it and what she learned. And I think this is great. I should mention again, we need to have that accessed on line right after that last period on the citation. Now, since I did not say this, Sierra didn't, nobody missed any points for not doing that, but in the future, every time you make a citation, do that, and I will, I'll update my materials too as well. So 2 paragraphs, and then we look, here's another 2 paragraphs, same kind of thing, excellent work, and all through Sierra's annotation, she does the same kind of thing. Initial paragraph that briefly describes, and then what she learned, what Sierra learned in that particular material that was cited. So now there's no photos included in this, and there doesn't need to be. It's an annotated bibliography. If you do want to include photos, that's great. If it's an essay that you do, where you're talking about what you learned from looking at different images, then it's important. That's when the embedding the photos into the body of the work applies, like I described. Now this is an excellent one. This is what Allison was doing. This is another excellent example, beginning paragraph where Allison talks about what is going on, what the thrust of the research is, and then very well-written paragraphs, 2 paragraphs on each of the citations. This is absolutely excellent. And again, photographs aren't put in, or images aren't embedded in this because we don't need them for the annotated bibliography, unless you really want to, that's great. But for the annotated bibliographies, we don't need those kinds of things put in. Now, let's see. Okay, and this is an example of, this one is really well done. And in the class discussion, the images made it, but for the submission itself for the project, it did not make it. This, Morgan did a series of illustrations of Empress Jingu, and she talks about how what she learned about the Empress, the story, everything like that, and then how that informed her art. But in this, and she included the citations, but unfortunately, in the element that was turned in, submitted, the images did not make it. And so please resubmit that with the images. And then Amber, this is another example of annotated bibliography, really well done. And this one does include an image, and that's great. What is exciting to me is to see how many different things people have done. Annotated bibliographies, this is Kabuki and Drag, which is, this is an essay talking about the research that they did, that they pulled together. And that was excellently done. This is somebody actually went and talked to one of the faculty about their exhibit. This is a discovery project. They went to the Eccles Art Center here on campus, and they talked with their professor about how gender impacts his art. And this is an excellent example, another excellent example. So an essay with images from that exhibit. So that was great. So these are another annotated bibliographies. And you see each of them, they have the bit at the beginning that talks about how it fits in with the class. So the assignment for this week is, it's not a graded assignment, but what I need you to do for the class for this week is to go through that discussion that has all those projects posted and look at each of the different projects. And when you do your assignment for attendance this week, I want you to, you're going to write down, and I'll change this, you're going to write down one thing that you learned from our discussion today, and then you're going to write down your reaction to 5 of the projects that you see in the discussion board for the class, and that's going to be your attendance for this week. All right, and also email me, let me know when is the best time to actually meet live during Teams. So today was really short, but that's what your attendance is. It's going to be different than other things, and so and I will send that email out with the links this afternoon. So I would like you guys to look at that and work on that as soon as you can, hopefully before the fall break starts, so you don't have to deal with that, deal with classwork as well as taking the fall break. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful weekend and week. Again, this is really short, but attendance this week is going to be you going through the discussion board and writing comments about several of the things that you find, several of the other projects that you see there. All right, thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I will look forward to seeing you